Lenny, I'm deliberately not repeating here in our conversations our experience with the word Colonus as Philostratus uses it in that amazing work called On Heroes, HeroesX, where we know that a Colonus is a tumulus, that is to say, a heaped up mound, which serves as a lookout point for seeing everything that the Colonus commands, which is usually the precinct of the cult hero, and the cult hero is usually imagined as being embedded inside the tumulus.
Yes.
And again, the word for that is Colonus.
It's like the focus, right?
It's the focus. That's a very good way to think of it. So here, and we now have a beautiful choral song and dance, literally a song and dance about this place, is described as having good power from horses, how it's the most potent inhabitation on earth because so many powerful forces inhabit it, and it's Colonus, shining white. And I think of those examples of hero tombs.
On the vases,
as painted on vases, where it's a tumulus, to say it's a mound, coming out of the earth, emerging from the earth. And this is archaeologically accurate in those paintings, is that these structures were usually coated with white stucco. So they would really be literally shining from afar. And that's how this is described here. Now somehow you have to imagine a beautiful grove, a verdant grove, and then a white rock or some kind of tumulus, which is called the Colonus.
Yes, exactly.
And so you would ordinarily imagine that there's the body of a cult hero embedded there somewhere in the Mother Earth. And that's what's being described in this beautiful setting where then the choral song and dance describes the nightingales that trill and the various superhuman forces that inhabit and energize
vegetal forces
and make charismatic the whole place. And I love the fact that towards the end of this song of praise for this beautiful spot on earth, the speaker, and now you can imagine a kind of amorphous I who is the native of this place, saying, and I have another word of praise to say for this city, our mother. And suddenly, by way of metonymy, this one spot is not only the place which will be the future cult site of Oedipus as an adopted cult hero, it also be by metonymy the whole city-state of Athens. And so it's okay to say, since you're concentrating on this part of Athens, that it's the mother city, it's the metropolis, mētropolis, which is where we get the English borrowing metropolis. It's the mother city, it's Mother Earth, and by extension, the mother city. And how already here there's a beautiful synthesis of Athena, who is the mother city embodied, and Poseidon, the big rival, who is the god of the sea, and who's the god of horses. And all of Athenian myth is this dynamic tension between these two amazing divinities and how they eventually synthesize into a situation where Athena is dominant and Poseidon is recessive. But that recessive, Poseidon is here, and here so powerfully and beautifully as the god of horses, which is, by the way he looks when he impregnates the earth. And that's how the first horse is born in local Athenian myth. So this is all something very synergistic, very synthetic. And do you mind a spoiler here?
No.
Which is that when this place metonymically is called the mother city of everything, of everybody, it's very appropriate to Sophocles because he was born there.
That's right.
This is
This is his
hometown.
place.
If you like to think of Colonus as a town which is part of a complex of towns, which is part of the city.
Right.
So yes, he's
This is the hometown boy.
he's the citizen of Athens, but he's also the native son of Mother Earth, as you imagine it here in this sacred grove, where Athena and Poseidon have this perfectly symbiotic relationship. Athena dominant and Poseidon recessive, doesn't matter, but it's all there together in this ultimate place of beauty.
And he gets to be a hero of cult as well.
And then I wish we had more accurate information, but it's definitely the case that when Sophocles dies in his 90s,
Right.
he lives to a ripe old age. He is so respected by his city because he did just about everything that you would ever want to be able to do in Athens. He realized all his ambitions. He was a general, he was a statesman, besides being the greatest,
in tragedies
the
as
greatest master of tragedy and a performer in
Yep.
tragedy. He did everything.
Yep.
And then after he died, his people did transform him, so to speak, into a cult hero.
Yep.
And he was worshipped as a cult hero. Again, I wish we had more accurate information because most of the references we have are anecdotal, but it's pretty clear to me that he himself became a cult hero. Imagine what it was like to go to posthumous presentation of Oedipus at Colonus. We know that he was already dead when
the play was performed.
when the drama was performed.
Right.
This is towards the very end of the 5th century.
Right.
And I would just give anything to be present at this theatrical moment when the greatest Athenian of the Athenian democracy up to that point is speaking from the dead and describing his native place, and he himself is already a cult hero, and most of the characteristics of Oedipus as a borrowed cult hero are really, may I say, channeling. An act of channeling. I don't want to get into who's channeling whom, and maybe I shouldn't have used that metaphor, but it's all there.
But it's metonymic as well.
It's metonymic.
That's
So
another way of thinking
I
about it.
do hope that our participants take this drama and the setting of this drama as a perfect illustration of the power of metonymy.
Yeah.